Hi guys, happy holidays and thanks for joining me on my commentary for episode 6. I'm temporarily skipping 5 because a War Princess and I will be doing a video kind of detailing Sharkface, which I hope you're all excited about, and we'll be giving some insight into that later so that people will actually be able to make it in Little Big Planet 2 like Brent suggested. I have some things to say about episode 6 though, which you guys all might find really interesting since a lot of my involvement in everything was deleted this episode, but I had some pretty interesting tidbits, so I think this will be a good commentary. First off, I'd just like to say, how funny was it when the teams were picked? I mean, I just felt like, what? All my best friends were on the other team. It was really sad. Nothing wrong with Mo and Big Fazeek, just they're so different, so it was kind of like we were just so the misfit team. I was really drooling over the possibility of being on the other team. Alas, turned out to be really great for me since it was an eating challenge. And my team might as well have been called the Fat Kids because all 3 of us are eaters. I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but I was 200 pounds before I can eat. We could all eat. So we were pretty confident as soon as we heard that it was an eating challenge. So anyway, Big Fazeek. Everyone's asking about him. How is it working with him? I'm not going to get into the drama, just like I didn't get into the drama on the show. I think that was kind of a strategy going into it because I look at the show as a job interview, and regardless of whether I win or not, I don't want my image being poorly reflected as someone who's getting involved with ridiculous childish drama. So I tried to avoid that as much as possible. That said, it was a controlling issue when, Big Fazeek was yelling at Mo, who had just won, or who had just lost the Gran Turismo challenge. It was kind of like, come on, can you be encouraging a little? Like, he's still our teammate, and we have part 2. So it's just frustrating when we've got personalities that are conflicting like that for no reason and creating drama. And hopefully you guys respect the fact that I stayed out as much as possible. That said, going into the challenge, it was exciting to see Cyrus and Nauseous. We were all, pumped up that we were getting some guest judges that knew exactly where we were in the competition. And so we do the competition, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I get really sick. And I'm surprised they cut it a little just because it was actually a really dramatic point of view from, where I was laying, I guess, because I was in a lot of emotional turmoil because I really knew right there and then I had just sent, my best friend in the house home. Cheska and War Princess and I were like best friends from day one. So as soon as, I raced back and I was fast, and as soon as we got back, Cheska was still putting marshmallows in. It was just like this, oh my God, Danielle is the only one they can even consider sending home. So it felt so shitty. And at the same time as I was realizing this, like my face started to sweat. And there's like 1 second where you see me kind of doubled over as I got back. And what you don't see is this progressed as she was talking about, oh, okay, go back to the loft or whatever she says. I was getting really sick. I hadn't eaten that morning. All I had done is taken an Excedrin because my head was hurting, so my stomach was empty. And all that spicy wasabi and horseradish, which I had literally taken in 1 clump each, was just sitting in my stomach, burning a hole. And I don't know, it felt like 5,000 ulcers were in my stomach, but I was dying. I like to describe what followed as the intro to Casino Royale. I don't know if you've seen it, the black and white bathroom scene. Well, it was like that, only with just 1 person. I was throwing myself against the wall. Like, I was just in so much pain. I was just like, ah! It was eating me alive. And I remember the camera guy just sitting there going, oh, I'm sorry, dude. And he just got in there and filmed what he can. I was just dry heaving. I was trying to just like make the pain stop, but I couldn't throw anything up. There was nothing to throw up except like a chunk of gross green glob. And I was just doubled over the sink. And I stumbled out because I was worried about War Princess. But I just felt so sick that I just lay on the ground. And so there's a long scene where I'm just like on the ground going, ugh. And Scooter comes over to me and he gives me, he reaches to me. He's like, come on, dude, you get up. And I just look up at him and I'm like, no, You will not stand over me, Scooter. You will not. So I'm pushing him off because at this point we've got our joking rivalry. As you know, I don't. We just had this sense that it was gonna be, you know, me and Scooter were, you know, like the two white guys. I guess we're like fighting for that archetype or something now. But we were very aware that we're gonna be pitted against each other, whether it's, you know, in episode 7 or the finale. Like we felt like we were, you know, we had to go head to head at some point for an epic final battle. And right there it was just funny, him standing over me, and I'm like, no, you will not win this early. I will get you, Scooter. And anyway, I start screaming for a medic because I was still in so much pain. I'm like, come on, producers, you guys have to have something on set. Nothing. Like, it took them forever. I'm like, I just need some Pepto-Bismol, something to get rid of this acid that's burning a hole in my stomach. And finally, they ran over with a plate of, like, a bagel, and she brought me some Pepto-Bismol pills. And I took them, and I was, like, slowly, like, chewing on the bagel, just trying to make my stomach stop burning. And this whole time, War Princess is bawling over on the side. This is when they're doing, like, side interviews. And so I go over to comfort her, just kind of nibbling on my bagel. And you can see it for, like, a clip, but it's just funny, because the whole time I'm, like, comforting her, and, you know, I feel terrible. I felt awful, and it just sucked, and we were all just so upset. But, you know, that was the way it was, and here I am just nibbling on my bagel, trying not to die. But, yeah. War Princess and myself were all on the side with Cheska, and then Big Fazeek and Mo were having their drama, and I won't touch on that. You know, he was trying to be nice, apparently, and, you know, kind of sympathize with her about the crackers, but at the same time she was crying, so it was like, you know she doesn't like you, like, just stay away. So that's what we kind of said, and then it was just this back and forth, and, you know, he was laughing, and I don't care to get into it. They're like oil and water, as Scooter said. But anyway, we go back for elimination, and this is like an epic scene that was cut. I think it was cut just because, you know, the drama between Big Fazeek and War Princess and Scooter was a lot more apparent. You know, I didn't have beef with Big Fazeek, really. I mean, yeah, he stole my game, but I didn't care. Like, who cares? It was the house's game. We were just looking for it to play, and it turned out to be hilarious. But I didn't like, you know, getting involved with drama, so I stayed out as much as possible. But the panel did make me talk, and it's an interesting and important part of elimination that they cut, just because I actually have the final last word before he gets eliminated, and it was kind of an epic line. So what happens is he's defending himself, she's fighting him. And what they don't show, by the way, is Brent actually goes, you know, is there anyone else in the house that you think deserves it more? Because she's leading to it, but she doesn't actually come out and say it. And he picks up on that, and so he asks, does someone deserve it more? That's when she really goes in on Big Fazeek. That's when Mo pipes in, and that's why Big Fazeek hates those two, because, like, they were attacking him. Like, they're like, get him out. And then the panel looks at me, because I'm the only one who has not said a word through this elimination. Like, I'm just dead silent. And they say, well, Big Fazeek was on your team. What do you think? And the thing is, you know, on the way home, I had just been silent, and I had just listened to him rant and say all these horrible things about her. And, you know, while sometimes he's right, he takes things too far, and he lies, and he does things. So it's like, it's hard to be on one side or the other, when sometimes he is right. Sometimes I defend him, and then sometimes I defend her. And if it's this in-between where it's just horrible battling, he tends to go on the more personal, angry, insulting side. And that's why we all default to defending Danielle, because he takes it further. And also, she's, you know, my good friend on the show. So no matter what, I'm going to have her back more. And so hearing him kind of rant about her was just hurtful. So during elimination, they asked me, what do you think of Big Fazeek? He's on your team. Was he antagonizing her while she was crying? And I said, well, I look at them. I would discuss the crying, but the only C word I can think about is the one he called her on the way home in the car. And they just went, oh no, he didn't. And I was like, oh crap, now I let it out. And Adrian just like that's when her face does this. She was not happy. She's like, you called her the C word, and you know, girl gamers are gonna back girl gamers up, and you know, he was in for a shitstorm then. So right there and then, Brent said, that's it, that's unacceptable, you're gone. So that's what happened. It was an interesting episode, dramatic episode. I'm glad it happened. I think a lot of viewers will find it interesting, but I'm also glad now that a lot of the drama is kind of subsided and we can get back to the competition, and I think a lot of viewers are going to enjoy that too. Speaking to the next episode, I guess I can just see from the thing, yeah, we all targeted Mo. We'll see how that plays out. We love Mo, just so everyone knows. We really do love Mo, and he has the craziest stories, and I'm sure he's going to have fantastic commentary on episode 7. But I think I really anticipate a more light tone, because you felt it in the house. Like, it's just going to be a lighter episode, and so a lot of the drama ended, and I call episode 6 kind of the climax of everything that was happening. So hopefully you guys will stay, you know, tuned in and enjoy the change of pace. And thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, and happy holidays.